welcome to the Kilobits. It is almost Christmas! Look at this! I've got a Christmas jumper and everything. And with the year coming to a close, it seems only apt that we talk about the Game of the Year. Now, I hate the term Game of the Year. There is no one game out there that is the best game ever and will be better than every other game that has been released in the last 365.25 days. But I have been tasked with giving you guys a list of the top 5 games of this year for me, and so that is what I'm going to do. Now, I want to just first point out that I haven't played a lot of the more recent releases coming up till Christmas, so I haven't been trying out stuff like Dragon Age or Far Cry 4 or those kind of games. So a lot of my list comes from the start of the year, but that's just because I haven't played some stuff, so don't get mad at me. And also, there's so many games like that it is a difficult one to call. Now, these aren't in any particular order, but the first game I want to talk to you guys about is Faster Than Light. Now, I hear you cry, Francesca, we can't have that. That came out in 2012. However, the game did get a massive update in 2014, the Faster Than Light Advanced Edition. And as such, I think that it is a worthy contender, because it did add a whole bunch of new content and refreshed the game. But at the same time, I only recently discovered this game this year, and regardless of when it came out, I'm going to put it as a candidate for Game of the Year. Now, Faster Than Light is a space exploration roguelike starship game. That's a terrible description, but basically you have a spaceship and you have to fly through the galaxy being chased by the Federation and escape, and then right at the end you have to defeat the big battled Federation cruiser. And the game is impossible. Like, it's so difficult, but it's also super fun. Like, it's so easy to just try again. You have crew, you can name your crew, and the Advanced Edition brings you all sorts of new cool stuff. Like, you have mind control, so you can try and mind control the enemy ship's crew. You have cloaking, so you can go invisible, and you also have this really cool new race, Linnaeus, which are like these robot things, and they suck the oxygen out of the room that they're in. So if they, say, invade your ship, so they teleport their crew onto your ship, and it's Linnaeuses, like, they're a pain in the ass to kill. Equally, like, you have rooms with Linnaeuses which have no oxygen, and really it's just brought a whole new facet to the game. The game is bloody difficult, and in adding the Advanced Edition, they've made it even more difficult, even more challenging, and even more frustrating than it ever was. But it's also a fantastic, fantastic game. It's challenging, it's fun, it's simple, and you can sink way too many hours into it, so that's why it's on my list. Another game that's on my list you guys might not realise, but it did come out this year, and that is Hearthstone. So Hearthstone is Blizzard's turn-based card-playing strategy game, and this is a game I'm very, very bad at. Like, I see my friends playing arenas and what have you, and they're like, oh, I went 14-2. Like, if I play arena mode, I normally go 1 and 3. If I'm lucky, I'll get the 1. But it's just a really kind of fun, simple card game. And to be honest, I actually play it more on my iPad, so on iOS, than on computer. And I really like the fact that you can just, like, sit, if you have Wi-Fi, say in a cafe on a train, and you can just play a few games of Hearthstone. And it's really simple, but it's got all these nuances in the way that you can put cards together to do different things. And I mean, 90% of the time I'll end up shooting myself in the face, or forgetting to attack, or somehow just messing up. But at the same time, it's a really fun game. They've just released an expansion pack, Goblins and Gnomes, bringing in new cards and refreshing the scene. But also I like to watch the esports scene for Hearthstone, and really, it's a really fun game to watch as well, and just learn different playstyles, and I think it's kind of revolutionizing digitalizing card games and making them much more accessible, because it's much easier to play card games with people online, because there's thousands and thousands of people you can play against, as opposed to at home, where you have to get people together. So I think it is a really good one for card game fans, as well as video game fans. So next up we have another sort of grey area, in that the first episode of this game came out in 2013. However, as the majority of the game came out in 2014, I'm going to consider it a contendee for Game of the Year 2014, and that is The Wolf Among Us, which is made by Telltale Games. And this game basically is how storylines should be done in games. Like, this game doesn't have particularly detailed or in-depth gameplay, in that a lot of it is just about making choices. But the way they tell a story, the way they weave a tale, the way they create a narrative, it's so, so nicely done, and it just completely absorbs you. Like, you can sit there, and I think I played through the entirety of it, from episode 1 through to episode 5, in a day, pretty much, just because I got so wrapped up in the lives of Bigby Wolf, and all these different fables, and their fable town, and this grim murder that had happened. And it's just such a interesting way of telling stories through a video game, and having that interactivity, using QTEs in the way that QTEs are meant to be used, having choices that do kind of have an effect, and really getting frustrated if you make a choice and it doesn't turn out the way that you plan it for it to turn out. That, on top of the lovely comic book style, cel-shaded art style, just made it probably the best Telltale game I've ever played. If not one of the games with the best storyline ever, especially this year. And for that reason, I have to commend it, because it was just really, really fun. And I don't have a lot of patience for single player. However, that game had such a gripping story that it was like reading a book almost, but playing a game, and it was just great. Like, really, really fun, plus the replay value of what happens if I go back and make different decisions, how's that going to work out, and for that I want to suggest this game as Game of the Year. Okay, next up we have, no surprises, Super Smash Bros. Specifically Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. The reason I don't have the 3DS version is because I am poor, and also because my DS is quite small, and when I played the demo I kind of struggled with the controls, whereas the Wii U version comes with an adapter so I can play the game as I've always played it, with a GameCube controller. Now, this is a very fresh iteration of Smash Bros. So, I was hugely into Melee. Brawl I played and I did own, but I never really got that into it, whereas I think that this is a kind of a fresh take on the franchise. They introduced a whole bunch of awesome new characters. Unfortunately, they removed Ice Climbers, and I'll never forgive them. They've also got some fun game modes. There's like a weird board game mode where you move around a board game and you fight, and really, I've played it, I don't understand what was going on, but I had fun. And that is kind of key. This is a party game that is a lot of fun. It's great to get your mates together, sit down, and just hash it out on the battlefield. On top of that, they've introduced Miis as playable characters, which just leads to hilarity ensuing as people make different Miis with different abilities. You try and make the ugliest Mii possible, the prettiest Mii possible, like, it's just really fun. The addition of customizable abilities and all of the different unlockables means that the game goes on for ages. The updated graphics, we now have HD Smash Bros, are just really breathtaking. You have so many different color palettes for each character. You can have topless Shulk and pink DK if you want, you know, just if you kind of felt like it. And it's just a really great, fresh iteration on Smash Bros. Like, it's very easy to sink hours and hours into this game. The new level design feature is proving a lot of fun, and the fact that it's on the Wii U means that there may be DLC in the future to improve the roster, improve character design, and just make it bigger and better, add more levels, add more stuff. And it's Smash Bros, and it's Smash Bros done well. And it's a game that I imagine over the Christmas period I'm going to be playing a ton, because I'm taking my Wii U back to Scotland, I am plugging it in, and all of my siblings are going to be forced to reimagine their childhoods as we duke it out once more on Hyrule Temple. And for that, I have to say that this is a very strong contender for Game of the Year. Now, last but not least, I want to talk about a MOBA, so a multiplayer online battle arena called Smite. Now, I hear you guys cry, Francesca, in your last vlog you said that their female character design was uninspired. And it's like, yes, I did say that. But, this is probably the game I have spent the most hours playing this year, since I started playing it back in about February. Now, this game counts because it came out of beta, I think in March. I want to say March, end of March. And Smite is a little bit of an unusual take on the MOBA franchise. So it's not isometric, it's not top-down. And previously I was playing a lot of League of Legends, but I realized that League of Legends has a very, very negative and very, very unwelcoming community. And I saw this new MOBA Smite, and it was third person over the shoulder, and I thought, you know what, let's try it out, let's see how it works out. But to be honest, I think the changing camera angle makes the game feel much more fast-paced. The fact that someone can actually sneak up on you from behind without you seeing them, unless you have good map awareness, makes the game more exciting. The community is much, much, much more positive for me than League of Legends was. I have so many friends that I've made through Smite, and the fact that I'm going to the World Championships in Atlanta in January just shows how much passion I have for this game. Hi-Rez, who make the game, are very generous. It's a free game. You can buy a god pack that has all of the gods and all of the foreseeable gods, which is your equivalent of heroes or champions, for about $30, which is a bargain. On top of that, they regularly do giveaway events where you can earn in-game currency just by playing the game. So the paid currency, you can earn it for free, and I've probably earned hundreds and hundreds of gems just by playing the game. Like, Hi-Rez is very, very generous in what they do. You also have favor skins or recolor skins, so you can buy skins for the currency that you earn just by playing, rather than only having skins available for those who buy a premium currency. And it's a free-to-play game, and it's a lot of fun. It's got your typical MOBA 3-lane mode, but then it's also got Arena, which is a big kind of 5v5 Brawl. You've got Assault, which is like where you get a random god and it's a single lane. You've got Siege, which has towers coming down it. You've got Joust, you've got 1v1. And I think there's something that will appeal to anyone who enjoys competitive multiplayer games. And the community is, for the most part, really, really great. And it's a game I want to see succeed, and it's already making its mark on the esports scene. So that is why I'm nominating Smite as the MOBA of the year, if not the game of the year. It's fantastic. I spend far too much time playing it, and I've made a lot of friends from it. So that is my list. For me, it's got to be Smite, simply because that is the game that I've put the most hours of my life into. If you disagree, let me know what you guys would pick in the comments below. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, even if you don't necessarily disagree with me. As always, we have a Facebook at facebook.com/thekilobits and a Twitter at thekilobits. I have been Francesca, and this has been my top 5 game of the year. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I will see you guys in 2015. Whoa, 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 hold on a second. It's the season of giving, isn't it? Yeah, it is. And so, as such, we at the Kilobits feel the need to give back to you guys, our fantastic viewers. So we're going to have a competition. And as it's Game of the Year, and I've given you guys my candidates, we have some prizes related to those candidates. So first place will win the Smite God Pack, a copy of Faster Than Light Advanced Edition, and a copy of The Wolf Among Us. So if you haven't tried these games, they are brilliant, and we are giving them away. Our runner-up will get Faster Than Light and Wolf Among Us. They will also get God unlocks for Nox and Kuang. So you don't get all of the gods, but you get 2 of them. We also have 3 random prizes going to random entries for Faster Than Light, Nox, and Kuang. So those are our prizes, and there will be 5 lucky winners. So how do you win these fantastic prizes, I hear you cry? Well, I need you to tell me what you guys think is Game of the Year, and why. So you can't just say something, you gotta give a reason, you know, a well thought out discussion. I expect at least a 3-page essay. No, basically it can be funny, it can be imaginative, it can be serious. Be creative with it and leave a comment below saying what you think is Game of the Year and why. You have until the 31st of December, so the end of the year, at 9 PM GMT, that's UK time, to enter. And if you're unfortunate to be too late or you don't win, don't worry, because on the 31st of December, our main Game of the Year show is coming out, and that will have more chances to win these sorts of fantastic prizes and others. So, good luck, and I'll see you guys in the new year. Bye!